Hello everyone, this is Enayat Meer with my Microsoft Exchange Server 2010 to 2013 migration video series. So I will have several videos. First, we are going to look at discovery option of this topic of Exchange Server 2010. So I am going to go into detail about all discovery related topics. So we have EX1, tray-EX1, my first server. That server has Microsoft Exchange 2010 installed. So my account is administrator. My domain is trayresearch.net. I am going to use my usual complex password to log in. During this section, I am going to review a lot of tabs from Microsoft Exchange console. Then I will cancel. The purpose is just to set up a discovery part, so where you can see that where we are now in Exchange 2010, where we will be in Exchange 2016 or 13, doesn't matter where you are going to upgrade. So concept is same for 2013 or 2016. So I am going to use in this video Microsoft Exchange 2010 at source side and Microsoft Exchange 2013 at target side. I am going into my Exchange Management Console. Under my mailbox, under organization configuration, you are going to see several options because we are going to look at some discovery. So we have to look at our mailbox database 1, look at limitations. We have issue warnings and we have prohibited options. So just take a look, note that, cancel it, look at the second database, same things, note what we have configuration, look at your retention policy tags. So review retention policy tags, document retention policy tags. What we have here, several tags we are looking at. Tray Research Business Critical, which we have a personal tag, which is a tag type. Age limit is 1095 days and action is move to archive. So I am going to review few of them with you. Then we have a Tray Research default delete, tag type all other folders in the mailbox. Age limit is 1825 days. Action is delete and allow recovery. Then you look at some other tags where you can do some documentation on it. Now you have those retention policies. You look at your retention policies, default retention policy. You see that. Options under that retention policy tags, we see the options never, delete, Tray Research default, delete, Tray Research deleted items. Then you look at organizational units, production, IT, research, etc. Now you click on Office Address Book tab. Same process, you will check for several tabs. You can look at some questions and you can answer them. So under the organizational configuration, basically what are the client access options, what are the default password options, and what is the executive policy password options. So you're simply gonna have to look at, right click on the options and go to properties or double click on it, look at that. So we are not going to make any change actually. So we are looking only what we have at our source side in Exchange. So you look at General tab, Password tab, Sync Settings tab, Device tab, Device Applications, and others tab. So simply your job is to review, look at that, what is the required password and what are the other options, and you will look at default email disclaimer settings. You can document that as well. So you should see that under the organization configuration, hub transport, in transport rule, you gonna see email disclaimer. So just take a look what disclaimer we have or we don't have, or you might have in your environment a disclaimer, or you might not have a disclaimer. You should in your production for your users. So review options. Under transport rules, we are going to deeply look into these all options to document that. Then we're gonna look at, after this one, a general rule setting. So first you look at this transport rule settings. Then we're gonna look at general rule settings. But here, whatever options you see them, you should document that. Then once you are migrated from Exchange 2010 to 2013 or 2016, you do have a chance to do a comparison, or you could actually mix and match these options. So currently you are just looking at transport rules at Exchange 2010 side. So the next will be, you can look at general rules. You can look at other tabs, send connectors. You have multiple options there too. You can see that because there are a lot of tabs here which you can review and you can document that. So here you are looking at your internet send connector, and you're looking at your SMTP settings, how it was set up here, and how you are going to set up at your target side. If you want to delete, you want to add, you can add here, you can delete, but we don't have to do that one because this video is specifically set up for a documentation purposes. So under general rule settings, you can look at that. Address is research general at traderesearch.net. Scope is a global for all messages, and recipient is research at traderesearch.net. So this was a very important setting for general rule, where every activity is being noted. So every email is actually recorded. So we can filter some words from here for some restrictions or tracking purposes. So now we are going to document external URL and authentication settings as well. For that purpose, you have to move down towards your server configuration, client access. Now you can double click on your Outlook web access part. So EX1 is our client access server. So now you can look at the settings what we have. If you want to change, you can change. So we're supposed to have https://mail.traderesearch.net/OWA. That is our internal setting. So external supposed to contain, which is mail.traderesearch.net/OWA. This also can be set through PowerShell. I meant through the Exchange shell. and this also can be set through the GUI. But again, we are just looking at these options at this time without making any change. So there is no purpose to make any change, because this exchange will be decommissioned at some point. So we are just going to review this part in Exchange 2010 section. So let's take a look. Permissions under your hub transport. So document permission group configuration for the default tray-ex1 receive connector. So you are looking at this time your hub transport server. So you will see permission groups which should include anonymous users, exchange servers, etc. So we are good to move further up to look at some other options. So now let's go and open up your Exchange management shell, which is basically a PowerShell from your Exchange server. So you can look at public folders by typing get-public folder. You can add a switch minus recurse, and then you can enter. So this is a list of your public folders. So we have a departments public folder with IT, research and sales as subfolders. So just document that what you have. Now you can move on to same command, but you have to pipe it to get-public folder client permission to look at the permissions. So you can see that IT, research and sales under it as well. Look at now the other options. You can see IT has a review permission, administrator has an owner. Now you can look at the public folder item count as well. If you want, you can actually use that get a publish folder get-public folder statistics, and that is where you can see that IT count is 2, sales 2, research is 2. So you simply can look at the way I am highlighting this. So this is another way to look at the documentation through the GUI way. Of course, this all can be achieved through the PowerShell, but I believe that instead of PowerShell, GUI is a more convenient way for those who are actually are basic users. So now you need to document the total number of mailboxes under recipient configuration. That is where you're going to have mailboxes. So scroll down to mailbox under recipient configuration, and you will see on the top right here 233 mailboxes count. So now you actually are going to look at few users. For example, Andres. You can look at the setting and who is a member of the executive team, and the document the settings listed in the properties here. Or if you don't see in the properties, just keep looking at on the tabs, or sometimes you're gonna see a small pop-up coming in your bottom left side. So you can take a look on that one. So you have these all options. So very clear, very visible. You have to use actually some other accounts as well. Once you have done with this account, you can pick up or pick and choose several more accounts and look at their mailbox settings, email address, member of tabs, mailbox features, calendar settings. You can look at address and phone settings. You can look at their active sync option enabled or disabled. You can see their IMAP, 4 POP3, MAPI options, Outlook web app options. So what is enabled, what is disabled. So you can repeat actually the same process for several users. So you picked up the user Andreas. So you always can see the username under the properties. Once you click on the properties under the context menu, once you are in the properties, you will be able to see the users options basically. So which users you are looking at. So this is a blue tab on the top is telling you that you are looking at now April Stewart properties. So we are going to repeat approximately same tabs, and you document that archive mailbox which is disabled. You can look at the messaging records management or MRM properties, which is default storage quota. You can see actually when you click on the mailbox setting, storage quotas properties. So you will see the issue warning at 4,000 megabyte and prohibited send at 5,000 megabyte. You can look at Outlook web app mailbox policy. You can click on mailbox features to look at Outlook web app properties, which should be set up at none. And you can look at Exchange Active Sync mailbox policy, that is under your mailbox features Exchange Active Sync properties, which is set as a default. So here you can see Outlook web app. So these are the settings which you basically can note it down. You're supposed to document this all in your project related documents, because this is very important. Later on, these things are very useful actually. So these can help actually after the migration. And we always have to do this documentations before the migration. Then we have to do the coexisting part for this lab, and then we do basically a migration. So I will split this series with several videos, but at this time you are looking at auditor groups mailbox, and you are looking at the properties, and you are looking at this member of tab, and under the context menu you are looking at several options. So it is just a browsing around to just validate a couple of more things. So again, this is the one I was talking about, mailbox auditor properties. You are looking at that time. You will verify the MRM, also message record management settings. So simply you have to click on these several tabs to look at the options. So you don't have to have exactly the same option for every user. Users can be configured individually. So I see some users are having litigation hold enabled. Some users don't. So mostly you will see this is a customized setting separately for every user, that the way you look at it. So I believe this was good enough information for documentation purposes. So you just saw this information. You are going to keep this info at a very safe place, because now I am going to move on towards your Exchange Server 2013 site. So EX1 is Exchange 2010. EX13 is, which I am going to log in now, is Exchange 2013. So that is where you are going to migrate your all users mailboxes from 2010 to 2013. So we are doing this a prerequisite part, or we are doing this documentation part first. So let's go into now your new server, which is Exchange 2013 server. All right, so here what we need here, we need a DVD, Exchange DVD, which it is not visible for you, but on the side I have this DVD available. I have inserted Exchange 2013 DVD. So here you can simply open and look at the contents of the DVD. We actually need to extract Exchange server.msi, which we are doing right now. After that, we need to install a remote server administration tool. So by adding a remote server administration tool, you will have access to your admin snappings. So it is a very simple to install, simply by using rsat-adds. So how long it takes? Just few seconds. So this is done. Now you have to prepare your Active Directory. So this is a required command you have to run: setup.exe space / prepare ad space / you have to accept the Microsoft Exchange server license terms. So I will pause and go, because you don't have to watch me while I am watching here and waiting. You simply have to look at a fast forwarding, because I am going to now install Microsoft Exchange Server 2013 cumulative updates. So these are the one update setup, so which you are going through right now. So a couple of options in between. You will see that where I am not going to disable malware scanning. So you have to read the intro, and if you want to read more, you can click on it and read it. Then you click on next and accept the license terms. Click on next and use recommended settings. Click on next. Use mailbox role. So Exchange Server 2016 have reduced roles now, mailbox and client access. Once you move into Exchange Server 2016, you will not have actually client access as well. So everything is integrated with one mailbox server role. So currently I have prepared prerequisites at the back end for installation of your Exchange Server 2016. We are going through now. We are using a DVD, and we are installing now Microsoft Exchange Server 2013 at the target, because that is the place where we are going to migrate our source. That's mean we are going to migrate source mailboxes and source users from Exchange Server 2010 to Exchange Server 2013. But in between, we have a lot of other prerequisites and coexisting. You have to match that. We are going through those all actually steps too. These videos are a little bit longer videos than my previous videos, because just noted that this step, completion of setup, took approximately 45 minutes. While I'm talking here, it was a fast forward. So don't take it so easy, and it is not like that quick. So it is a time consuming. and it takes time for installation. Once you click on install, it takes actually approximately 45 minutes to have this all done completely. So currently we do have Exchange 2013 installed. I am using a shutdown command from the PowerShell, shutdown space /r/t space 10 means 10 seconds waiting time for the reboot. So it took 10 seconds, it rebooted. I did a fast forward, I came back up. I am going to log in back into Exchange Server 2013 using my administrator account to research.net. Keep in mind we are using a same forest. This is not acquisition, this is just an upgrade. So from Exchange 2010 to Exchange 2013. So 2010 you always have it available. 2013 you have installed. Actually right now we just saw that we have installed Exchange Server 2013. So I am going to log into my Exchange shell or PowerShell. So you are going to use a command to rename a default mailbox database. So I will try to finalize these all videos or this video series. At the end, I will try to put all of these commands under the description of my last video, and I will also try to post my Dropbox link under the video description of my last video, so where you can get these all important commands. So if I do any mistake here or if I see any error here, I will try to fix those errors. So here I just renamed the mailbox default name to EX13MDB1. Alright, so now we have to use this command for a password. This is to set a password. So if there is any typo, any issue with the space with the command, so I usually go back and fix it and hit enter again. Sometimes I have to clear the screen. So you have created a new mailbox EX13 test. So this mailbox is now at your target. So note these are all commands as well. So I am going to sign into OWA as EX13 test to verify that this account works. So your URL is https://trade-ex13.treeresearch.net/OWA. You log in as domain/ex13 test with my usual complex password. That is the password which is being used for my all labs within the past 10 to 15 years. So because of the time restrictions and security, I have changed also a little bit this password. So I'm using only the recommended password from Microsoft. So as you saw that we are actually able to log in successfully to Microsoft Outlook. That proves that this account is good, up and running. So you can compose an email. Once you compose this email from Exchange 13, then you actually can verify that this email went from Exchange 13 to Exchange 10. So users can actually open email who are living in Exchange 10 environment, this email. So Aaron Nicholas is a user in Exchange 2010 environment. So I am putting this email test from Exchange 2013. So you saw that this is a brand new mailbox. This mailbox does not exist in Exchange 2010. This exists only in 2013. But Aaron exists in Exchange 2010. So that is why we have to go back in Exchange 2010 and log in to Outlook Web Access as Aaron. So I switched back to Exchange 2010. So log in as Aaron. You see that you are able to access that email which was sent from Microsoft Exchange 2016. So this proves that a new mailbox was created. That mailbox is functional. You sent an email from Exchange 2013 and you are able to get that email from Exchange 2010 Outlook web app. Now you just can reply, got it, thank you. So you want to see the vice versa from target to source and from source to target. So we now, after sending this email, can go back and check that if everything is working appropriately. So here there was a sent message from my end that indicates that what was sent to Exchange 2016. So now you can refresh your inbox and you see that there is an answer from Aaron to EX13 test that this message was received and was replied. So this is one proof that our email is working. So let's go and check my upcoming video for more details. Here we prepared Active Directory domain services and other prep. Thank you for watching.